And there you seem to be very critical of the UPA government and its handling of the airline as well as the entire process of making it profitable. You said, and I quote, "Due to the wrong decisions taken during the UPA government, the financial condition of Air India continued to deteriorate and losses kept increasing. Air India, which was in profit 14-15 crores in 2005-06, had to face a loss of 85,000 crores in the next 14 years, unquote. Now, Mr. Scindia, can you elaborate on this a little bit? Because there was also a time, of course, where many people talked about perhaps the UPA government deliberately moving to undermine, subvert Air India's interest to favor private operators.
So what I will do, Rahul, is just put the facts before you. I don't want to get into issues of X or Y. The fact of the matter is that Air India separately was a profit-making enterprise. Indian Airlines separately was a profit-making enterprise all the way up to 2005 and 6. And then came the merger. The merger was destined for disaster from the get-go, because the first thing that we learn in business and in practices as you go through the rigors of investment banking or consulting is that what is more important than balance sheets are the cultural fit between two organizations. And therefore, company A may look at an acquisition of company B, company A may look at a merger of company B, company A may look at a demerger process of between itself and company B. All of those actions have to be governed more by cultural fits and harmonization between people and management rather than just economic bottom line balance sheet and P&L numbers. And I think that's where the fatal mistake occurred. And the very fact that you combine two entities that had very different mission, goals, value systems, HR processes, cultures into one, and then put in place systems that lead to transforming those two profit-making companies into loss-making companies, and ranging from an average from 2006 onwards until 2019-20 or 2021 until its sale, between 3,000 crores to 20 crores a day, which means 7,500 crores a year. The total losses of close to 85,650 crores over a 14-year period is disastrous, because at the end of the day, Rahul, whose money is this? This is not Government of India's money alone. This is the money of every taxpayer in this country, including you and me. And the government's responsibility as a fiduciary holder of that tax money is to ensure that the return on capital employed is the highest possible. Now, is the ROCE or the ROI higher in a company that's ending up making losses between 3,000 to 7,000 crores a year, totaling 85,000 crores over a period of 14 years? Add to it the government guarantee of 51,000 crores, add to it the equity infusion of 54,000 crores, and add to it the current debt burden until handover of 62,000 crores. What kind of number are we talking about? We are talking about 2.5 lakh crores. Is that a good use of taxpayers' money? The answer equivocally is no. That money has to be used to build schools, build roads, build electricity plants, educate people, skill development, and that's where national economic growth is going to come from. And therefore, the Prime Minister took it upon himself and took an executive decision that we need to cut loose from this millstone around our neck, hand it over to the private sector that will work and make it work better, and take our resources and employ that 7,500 crores a year in terms of filling up a very deep black hole towards concentrating on Manrega, concentrating on rations, concentrating on human development, concentrating on education, building roads. And I think all your viewers will probably agree with me as well. And I think everyone was extremely elated at the end of the day when the transaction went through. And actually, there was deliverance from this millstone that is around our neck, and also hoping for a better value proposition for customers, and therefore a win-win for both sides.
Given that you were obviously a very instrumental player in the UPA setup, I just want to ask you, if it was so obvious, why is it that the UPA still embarked upon this? Was it purely, perhaps, corporate strategic, limitations? Perhaps the inability to comprehend? Or was there something more?
There are many. There are many insinuations, but that's not me. And I think, Rahul, you've known me long enough to get into that sort of debate. There are many insinuations as to the whataboutery about this. Whatever it is, it's undergoing its own process. Having said that, this transaction is behind us, and we must now look in the here and now and look into the future and build our civil aviation industry in India.
Talking about that, when can we expect the new avatar of Jet Airways and also Akasa Air to be launched?
Well, I'm very hopeful that you will see it happen in probably by the end of this fiscal, if not earlier. And we're all waiting for the two new airlines to be flagged off. It will be close to 2 decades, Rahul, that this country has seen an addition in terms of number of players. There has been a sort of a wrapping up and a bankruptcy of player after player after player in the civil aviation sector. It's for the first time that you're seeing a rebirth of a former player and a newborn in terms of Akasa, and both coming in, as I'm told, as you've probably heard as well, with quite a decent number of planes to start out with. And let me add here as well, the Prime Minister's prerogative and his thought of हवाई चप्पल वाले भी हवाई सफ़र कर पाए, उड़े देश का आम नागरिक. That Udan program, which we don't talk about enough, which resulted in close to 180,000 flights in the last 5 years, new flights, and 93 lakh passengers who would have never traveled in their lives before, who traveled on the basis of Udan, has spawned in its wake 11 airlines, of which 3 are new startups. So you have seen over the last 4 or 5 years a new buoyancy and a new environment growing in civil aviation. They're not the names that you and I recount every day, because they're regional transport aircraft and regional transport airlines with a fleet of 2 or 3 or 4 or 7 or 8 or 10. But this Udan program has resulted in that. And now the mainstream sector on the narrow bodied side, on the ultra low cost carrier side, the ULCCs, we'll see 2 new carriers come in. Jet may be a hybrid of the 2, which is ULCC and full service carrier, but you're going to see new 2 entrants after almost 2 decades.
My final question to you, Mr. Scindia, you have a big vision.